Greetings, Lucky Legends. Welcome to the dojo. My name is Lucky. This is Lucky Lad TV. I'm your host for this video, and it is time for more Lucky Analytics live team building. This time around, TSA the Wigglytuff with Frisk. I was doing a lot of traveling recently, as you know, and I kept running into the TSA because I was in like more than six, I was in like 9 different airports or something like that. And I kept remembering, forget about that. The point of this is that Frisk is an extremely valuable ability that is also very difficult to come by. Most Pokemon with the ability Frisk are just not good. Because, in my opinion, if your Pokemon has Frisk, you want it to be really, really bulky and able to survive for a very long time. And I think Wigglytuff fits that the best. Frisk reveals your opponent's item, your opponent's held item. And the reason I feel that that is such a valuable thing to have is that items often reveal sets. For example, if you see a Pokemon with leftovers, you know that it is most likely going to either be some sort of setup Pokemon or some sort of wall. Whereas if you see a choice item, you know that that Pokemon is designed to sweep, gain initiative, possibly be a trick Pokemon, something like that. Frisk is really good at revealing certain things. It reveals berries, which would lead you to know if your opponent is planning on doing something. It has a lot of really, really, really valuable factors to it. Things that it's somewhat difficult to explain, but you really see it when it's happening. And Wigglytuff is also very bulky. I'm going to grab my phone because I need to pull up my type chart for the team building purposes. And just leave that right there. So the reason Wigglytuff is completely blank is because there's so many different things that it can do. It is a special attacker, and I have it with 0 attack IVs in case of foul play. But it is a special attacker, and it has access to really great moves. It has access to Dazzling Gleam and Hyper Voice. Those are its primary stab moves, but it also has access to Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, probably, yes, Thunderbolt. It has access to Shadow Ball. It has access to Psychic. It has access to just so many great special attacks. And then that's if you're running it as a special attacker. It can also be run as a wall. It has access to Heal Bell. It learns Wish. It has Thunder Wave. It has Toxic. It has Stealth Rock. It can do so many different things. It learns Reflect and Light Screen. You can run it as a screen setter, which I didn't think about, but is a pretty good idea. I may end up doing that, I'm not sure. It depends on what this team needs. But as you can see, Wigglytuff it just has a really good variety to it. It can do so many different things. The issue is its defense and special defense are relatively lacking, and it's very slow. Its special attack is okay, and its HP is phenomenal. But other than that, it's, that's why it's way down in this tier. It doesn't, it doesn't have the bulk or the offense to make it a huge threat, or the speed for that matter. But you don't find that many Pokemon that are really fast and really HP invested. So it raises the question, well, what do you do with it? Well, when you have a Pokemon that can do just about anything, I like to leave it to the end, and to figure out what I'm going to do with it at the end and see what the team needs before I fill that out. So TSA is weak to poison and steel, which would make you think, go with steel type. However, the steel types down in this tier are not really what we're looking for, because this is the NU tier. You have Bachiodon and Probopass, both of which are weak, double weak to both fighting and ground, which are two of the best offensive types in the game, so you can't rely on that. You have Wormadam, which is trash. And then you have these guys, none of which really fit the bill for what we need. Then of course you have the Eviolite users, but Eviolite, generally speaking, gives you a knockoff weakness. It just does. Because people will spam knockoff to get rid of your Eviolite, and then you are faced with an issue. And Klinklang doesn't really have the HP in order to be that defensive. So in a situation like this, I need something that can really handle a poison type, because there are some dangerous poison types down here, and as you just saw, there are plenty of dangerous steel types. But when you have Pokemon like Muck, which is very dangerous, you have Haunter, which is also very dangerous, you have Garbodor, which is very dangerous and also very common, because Garbodor can run a bunch of different stuff. And Skuntank's not as dangerous, but Vileplume is a huge threat. In case you haven't seen my Invading the A-Drive Army NU team builder, I put a Vileplume in there because Vileplume is deadly. Vileplume is deadly, it has great natural bulk, and it has 110 special attack, which is very high. So I need something that can handle poison types, and I need something that can handle steel types, and I'm going to have to separate them, most likely. For handling the poison types, I really want something with Psychic, because most poison types down here are either frail, such as Haunter, or physically defensive. Garbodor is typically run physically defensive with Rocky Helmet. Weezing is physically defensive it's insanely physically defensive. It's extremely difficult to kill. The issue is Psychic does not resist poison, so it doesn't work when you try to wall it. However, I do want that Psychic stab, so I'm going to look for a Psychic type Pokemon. And we see the PU Mons. We have Lunatone. It does resist poison, but again, it's not, it doesn't have the bulk that we need. We have, wrong tier. We have Claydol. Claydol resists the poison, but it's very slow, which is something that we couldn't really get around the slow part. We have Metang, which is an Eviolite user, which I would like to avoid. Claydol could do what we need it to. It could. It doesn't have the best special attack, though. The other thing we could do is we could get a ground type, because a ground type resists poison and hits back super effectively, but we wouldn't have anything for the Weezing, which is, of course, an issue. Weezing would wall us like crazy. But let's look at ground types, and let's see what we find. Claydol Golurk, which double resists poison. Golurk may be a possibility. We have Quagsire, which is, of course, very fat. It has access to Recover. Makes a great physical wall. And it also resists the steel that we are weak to. And it's a double grass weakness, which is easier to handle than most other double weaknesses, because you have Pokemon with Sap Sipper running around. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Quagsire. Quagsire's really calling out to me. I'm gonna go with the Quagsire. I'm going to name you Bill. Bill, 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 Bill. And I'm gonna give you Water Absorb. Or I could go with Unaware. I'm gonna go with Unaware for now. If we end up needing that water immunity, I will change it. However, I don't think we will. I'm gonna leave your item blank for now. And I'm gonna do your EVs. Oh, that is wrong. That is very wrong. Okay. I was pressing the wrong button. Max out your defense. And I'm just gonna put the minus here. Because what's gonna end up happening is you're gonna be a mixed attacker. Because you have Earthquake on the one hand, but then you have Scald on the other hand because we want that chance to burn and give you Recover. What would your last move be? Again, this is going to be an example of I'm going to leave that blank for now because there's no obvious answer to go there. And again, since if this ends up being a Water Absorb set, then I would probably put like a Rocky Helmet on it. Whereas if it stays as the Unaware set, I would probably go with Leftovers or something like that. And as for the item, that will change depending on what this is. I'm sorry, the attack will change depending on what this is as well. If it's the Unaware set, I'll probably go with, I don't know, Protect. I could easily go with Protect. Whereas if it's, I could also go with like Sludge Bomb or Toxic if it's the Unaware set. But, you know, it's going to be something that I figure out later. So Bill is of course double weak to grass, so immediately I lean towards a Sap Sipper. I may go with a double resist instead, because I do need a specially defensive Pokemon to go on this team. And we could easily go with something like Go-Goat. Go-Goat is very specially defensive, and it hits really hard as well, which is a very nice thing. However, it's another poison weakness, which I would, you know, there's no reason to do that. We go with something like Girafarig. Girafarig's not that strong, but it's weak to Dark and Bug, and that's it. And you know, Fairy resists Bug, and Fairy also resists Dark, so that would, you know, get rid of some of our weaknesses. You also don't see Girafarig that often. Let's look at Girafarig. Let's see what it has to offer. What do you have in terms of attacks? You have Psychic, which would be nice to have. You do get Nasty Plot, which is pretty cool. I could make you a mixed attacker. Like, we could have a bunch of different mixed attackers, and I could give you an Assault Vest, because you do get a lot of cool moves. In terms of normal stab, that would be two normal types, however, neither of them are weak to fighting. They're both neutral to it, so it wouldn't be that much of an issue. And you get a lot of cool moves. I'm going to run with Girafarig for now. I'm going to name you... What am I going to name you? Melvin. It's the giraffe from Madagascar. I'll make you male. No, you're not going to be shiny. Sorry, does not look good. As for your typing, or your item rather, I'm very heavily leaning towards Assault Vest. However, you get a lot of really good setup moves. You get Calm Mind, oh, and Baton Pass. Wow, you get Agility, Baton Pass. You get so much good stuff. Wow, you get Nasty Plot. I'm gonna go with the Assault Vest though. Assault Vest, and I'm gonna give it the Sucker Punch. It's a little bit odd. However, if we do get to +2, which hopefully we can. We should be able to do some interesting things. I'm actually going to put the minus right there and just make you a mixed attacker. I'm going to put the 8 in speed. Or rather, I'll just put the 8 in special. I don't want you losing special attack. I'm going to put the minus right here and put the 8 in special attack because you're going to be primarily a special attacker, but the Sucker Punch could come in handy. So you're going to be a gentle nature. You're going to be a gentle Melvin. And as for your attacks, I'm definitely going to give you the Psychic. You don't need Psy Shock down in this tier. I'm going to give you Sucker Punch, Psychic. You need a normal type attack. You go with Hyper Voice would be the obvious choice. However, I don't know what I'm going to give you. I'm going to leave the rest of this blank for now. We know what kind of set it is. It's a specially defensive Pokemon. Its special bulk actually gets pretty decent, but it's not, you know, the end-all special wall that we need. It's not, you know, the most specially defensive Pokemon. However, it does round out the weaknesses that we have. It resists the bug. Sorry, it's immune to the grass. It's weak to bug and dark, but TSA covers both of those, so we don't have any unchecked weaknesses right now. We have a really nice 3-part core. A very, very, very nice 3-part core. However, one of the things that we are lacking is status. Bill may end up having status on it, but right now we don't have any. TSA could also have some. The other thing we need is checks to certain Pokemon in this tier that cause serious issues. Well, let's see what we're weak to right now. Right now we're weak to Malamar, but if Bill is unaware, then we're fine with Malamar, because Malamar won't really be able to touch us. We're weak to... We're not really weak to Vileplume, because Melvin will have speed, and Psychic will hurt. We don't have a problem with Wheezing. Again, Melvin. We do have a problem with Mega Auden, because we can't do anything against the rest-talking, calm-minding, dazzling gleam Mega Auden now. We don't have anything for that. But we need something for it. And my first inclination is Muck. My first inclination is Muck because Muck has great natural special bulk to it. And you can also set up power punches on your opponent. Or you can set up a curse if you want, either way. I think I'm going to go with the Muck. I'm going to go with the Muck. I'm going to give it Poison Touch. And I'm going to name you... What am I going to name you? Grape Jelly. Grape Jelly. You are Grape Jelly. You are a female, I believe. I already have one in my game named Grape Jelly. I'm going to give you the Black Sludge. And I'm going to go with, you know... I'm going to look around, see what you have. Definitely Poison Jab for stab. Shadow Sneak makes good priority. What else would I want you to have? Ice Punch might be good. Fire Punch I think would be better. Yeah, I think Fire Punch would be better. We'll have to see though. I'm definitely going to give you Curse. Why is Curse not up here? I know you get it. I'm going to give you the Curse. And I'm going to go a little abnormal with this. I'm gonna give you max HP, max attack. Well, that's probably not abnormal, but... And I'm gonna put the 8 right here in special defense to up your natural special bulk. Because if you set up a curse, your defense and special defense will be, you know, both over 230, which is really nice. And you have really good natural HP. As for your last attack, right now, we don't get walled by any one Pokemon. However, Pain Split could be interesting, but I'm not going to go with that. I'm leaning more towards the Fire Punch. I'm really thinking that's going to be what we're going to go. I'm going to go with the Fire Punch for now. I may end up changing it. But this is what we have so far. Grape Jelly, which is, of course, weak to Ground and weak to Psychic. The Psychic we're fine because we have Melvin. But the Ground weakness we definitely want to address because we are weak to Earthquake right now. Just overall. So we want something that can very easily handle Earthquake. So first things first, let's look at potential Levitate Pokemon. None of these work. Claydol has way too many weaknesses and overlapping typing. We have Cryogonal, which is very fast, but it's also very frail. We have Rotom Fan. We have regular Rotom as well. We have Wheezing, of course, but we already have a Poison type, so we're not going to go with that. What do we have in terms of Flying types? Because a good Flying type would be nice on this team. Especially to deal with, you know, Fighting types and Bug types. That would also be a nice thing to be able to handle. We are... let's see... Because we want something that deals with Earthquake users. That's the goal here. We could go with Swellow. Swellow handles Earthquake users because a Guts boosted Facade will deal huge damage to just about anything. It is a rock weakness, like we would be weak to entry hazards, which is something that I generally like to avoid. However, it does fit really well on the team. It's weak to rock, ice, and electric. We have an electric immunity. Ice we need to handle, and rock we have a resistance in Bill. So Swellow is definitely a good option. The other thing we could do is we could go with Scyther with an Eviolite, and that would definitely handle it. Double resist fighting. Does Bug resist Psychic? I don't think it does. It does not. So we would still need a Psychic resistance. However, Scyther is very, very, very dangerous. I'm gonna go with the Scyther. I'm liking the idea of having a Scyther on here. Eviolite, it resists knockoff, so I'm not as worried about that. I'm gonna make you male. I'm gonna name you Magnitude. M4GNI2DE. Magnitude. I'm going to give you Aerial Ace because it is Technician boosted. I'm going to give you U-Turn because I am not worried about shenanigans. I'm going to give you Roost. And we need a really good special attacker to fill our last slot as I'm looking at this. Get Morning Sun. That's weird. I'm going to give you Knockoff as well. And I'm going to max out your speed because I need you to outspeed stuff. And then I'm going to max out your attack. I'm just going to give you 4 in defense. At level 50, it'll probably be 4 in HP. I'm not sure. So that is our Scyther, which I'm very happy with. Aerial Ace, U-Turn, Roost, and Knockoff. Yep. It's a good set. So we have that double rock weakness. It's also weak to fire. It's weak to ice. So we need something that resists ice and resists psychic, which would be a steel type. But we can't go with just a steel type, because that would give us another fire weakness, which we can't really handle. So, resisting ice, we need something that resists ice and psychic. Ice and psychic are resisted by... Steel is the only overlapping thing there. What do we have in terms of ice resistances? We can't add another water type. Actually, we could add no, we can't, because that's another electric weakness. Ice is resisted by fire. We could go with a fire type of some sort, although it is another ground weakness. We actually really can't do that. Our only real option is a steel type, but it creates another fire. Well, let's see what steel types we could choose from. Right as I'm doing this, I'm realizing that we can't go with a steel type. However, I don't want to add to our ground weakness. I don't want to add to our ground weakness, because right now magnitude is the only thing that checks something with earthquake. It's the only thing we have that checks something with earthquake. But we do need something that can handle ice, and that can handle it well. Because right now we don't have anything that handles ice. What about something with thick fat? Because that would, you know, get rid of a fire weakness and an ice weakness. We have Hariyama, but that's weak to psychic. We want to be resistant to psychic. We want to be resistant to psychic. We see that Grumpig would be the only option there in terms of thick fat that's resistant to psychic. However, that would be another dark weakness, and we already have a psychic type. So we're actually not that weak to psychic right now. The thing that we're weak to is the ice. We have no ice resistances. So, and we also need something that hits really hard on the special attacking side. You can't go with a fire type. I know that. Can't go with a water type, because that's another electric weakness, which we can't handle. You could go with an ice type. Ice resists itself, but that's another fire weakness. Can't go with a steel type. I'm thinking of just going with something that's really specially offensive, and just figuring it out during the team testing. As for the super specially offensive Pokemon, there are not that many options. You have stuff like Magmortar, but that is a ground weakness, and a rock weakness for that matter. You have Musharna, but that's a dark weakness, and we don't want to be weak to knock off with everything. You have Rotom Fan's decent, but not really enough. I think we may need to dip a little bit lower. For this last Mon. We have very few options. We go with Glaceon. Although, like I said, it's fire weakness. I'm not really a big fan of. what else could we do? We could go with Ninetales, but again, ground weakness. A very hard-hitting special attacker. We could make Wigglytuff a hard-hitting special attacker. We could do that. However, I'm leaning against that. I'm not really feeling that. You can go with Cryogonal, though you don't hit as hard as I want you to. Go with Gorobus, but again, that electric weakness is a problem. The grass weakness we're actually fine with because we have a double resist and an immunity. And you do get Shell Smash. You do get Shell Smash. You do get Shell Smash. Gorobus is going to be my backup plan if I can't find something better. Jinx. No. That's a huge knockoff weakness. Because Jinx is extremely frail on the physical side. Ludicolo could be interesting. However, it really doesn't hit hard enough. I'm really thinking we're gonna go with the... We're gonna go with Gorobus. We're gonna run with it. We're gonna keep it with... We're actually gonna give it Hydration. Actually, no, I'm gonna give it Swift Swim. I'm gonna give it Shell Smash. I'm gonna give it Scald. I'm going to give it Ice Beam. And I'm going to give it... I'm thinking Shadow Ball for coverage. Or I go Signal Beam. No, we have... I'm gonna go with Shadow Ball. And I'm gonna make you that. Whoopsie. I'm gonna make you timid. A timid little Gorobus with 4 here in special defense. Your item... What is your item going to be? I just had the idea in my head. I just had an idea. Scald, Ice Beam, which means, well, having Scald on 2 Pokemon, I don't have a problem with that. Your item, I'm gonna name you Siren. Actually, no, I'm gonna name you Sushi. Sushi! Female. No, God no, not shiny. I don't want to go with Whiter, because your defenses aren't that great to begin with. You're pretty frail, as is. I had a different idea. Like a very clear idea of what I wanted to go with. It was not Leftovers, it was not Life Orb. And I really think the light screen variant of TSA is going to be good for us. And you're going to be Leftovers. Unaware, Earthquake, Scald, Recover, and you can just have Protect for scouting purposes. Use Sucker Punch, Psychic. You're gonna have Fairy coverage, so you don't need it. Energy Ball, because we don't have Grass coverage, and Thunderbolt, we don't have Electric coverage. You're done. You're done. You just need your item. But you are going to be Light Screen. Light Clay is your item. Reflect. Dazzling Gleam and Hyper Voice. Yeah, Hyper Voice works for you. Actually, no. Stealth Rock. Get some rocks up. Shell Smash, Scald, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball. What the hell item was I going to give you? Because I had an idea. I know for a fact I had an idea. It was not Expert Belt. Although that is a good backup item if I don't remember what I want you to have. It was not Focus Sash. It wasn't King's Rock, it wasn't Life Orb. Was it? I don't think it was Lumberry either. Because you're a special attacker, so that's not really much of an issue for you. The hell was I going to give you? It wasn't Quick Claw or anything like that. It wasn't Safety Goggles, because that's not much of an issue down here. It wasn't Citrus Berry, you're not bulky enough for that. It wasn't Weakness Ball, so you're not bulky enough for that. And it wasn't White Herb, because I was very specifically thinking I'm not going to go with White Herb because you're not bulky enough for that to begin with. What was it? It might have been the Air Balloon just for a ground switch in, but that doesn't make too much sense. I'm gonna make that 0. I'm gonna make you need it, unfortunately, but yours is 0, and I'm going to make you. I'm gonna make you just fat. Fat. Plus, minus, 60, 200, that's way too much. 160, 100 plus. We're getting there. This should be 171, and this will be 171. There we go. Figured that one out. Sushi, what the hell was your item gonna be? Because I know it wasn't White Herb. I know for a fact, because I was thinking, you know, most people run White Herb, but that doesn't really work with this, because I don't need that. Was Shadow Ball even the move that I wanted to give you? Because I know you get some pretty cool moves. Because we have Fire coverage. You do get Psychic, but we have Stab Psychic. No, this was definitely the move that I wanted you to have. I'm just gonna go with Expert Belt. There's no reason not to. Because I honestly can't remember what it was, but this is the team right here. I'm gonna go do some testing with it. Right now, we have TSA, our Light Clay Frisking. Wigglytuff, Light Screen, Reflect, Dazzling Gleam, and Stealth Rock. It's gonna take a while to kill this thing, but it actually needs Wish. It needs Wish. It needs Wish for longevity, because it does not have leftovers. I wish I could give it Heal Bell as well, but I can't, because I need Dazzling Gleam. I need it to be able to attack. Then we have Bill over here with Earthquake, Scald, Recover, and Protect. Leftovers with Unaware to stop any setup sweepers, such as a Sushi, for example. And hit that thing with Scald, Recover, Protect, Earthquake, all that sort of stuff. It is our physical wall, our primary physical wall. We have Melvin, the Giraffe Rig, with an Assault Vest, Sap Sipper for that grass immunity, Sucker Punch, Psychic, Energy Ball, and Thunderbolt. This is going to be very interesting for me to try out, because I've never used Giraffe Rig before at all. We have Grape Jelly, our Muck, with the Black Sludge, Poison Touch, Poison Jab, Shadow Sneak, Curse, and Fire Punch. It is probably going to be like a late game sweeper, would be my guess. Same with Sushi. Sushi will probably be a late game sweeper. Gorobus with the Expert Belt, Swift Swim, Shell Smash, Scald, Ice Beam, and Shadow Ball. Timid Nature to get that speed up, and then 252 in Special Attack, 4 in Special Defense. And then, of course, we have Magnitude, our Eviolite Technician boosting Scyther, with Aerial Ace, U-Turn, Roost, and Knockoff. Roost is because if this thing comes in on rocks, it's at 50%. but it should be able to live a hit with Roost. Sorry, with the Eviolite, and it should actually outspeed most things and be able to get off that Roost before I get hit. And U-turn for the switch initiative, max attack, max speed, Jolly Nature with 4 in defense to take that knockoff a little bit better. But that is going to be our team. I'm going to go test it out, see how it works. I want to thank you guys so very much for watching and for joining me here at the dojo. But with that, I'm going to get about. Best of luck. Best of luck to you out there. I will see you all soon. Goodbye.